guys? NYKF31 here, bringing you a Madden 16. This is a online ranked game. What can you do? And I wanted to do a video going through Airraid passing reads out of my Airraid playbooks here. But unfortunately, it's very tough to find someone playing an online ranked game that yawn. That's my general reaction when playing an online ranked game is yawning. They're very hard to stomach, very hard to finish because all I'm dealing with is either quarters 2-man under every single play, or 3-4 cover 4 drop every single play. And after one possession of that, I lose interest and I want to move on to something else. So it's been tough to find a game where I can show you guys a lot of different progressions versus a lot of different coverages, because I'm seeing one coverage all game, or two coverages all game. Two defenses all game, I should say, to be more accurate. So I'm going to use this video to talk about a whole laundry list of stuff. I actually had a very good discussion with Clint Odenberg via Twitter about shotgun inside zone. And what you'll notice, and you'll see it in this game, is that there are variations of shotgun inside zone which leaves a defensive end unblocked, as if he's making a defensive end or outside linebacker. They leave him unblocked as if it's a zone read. And we were talking about this, and I basically asked Clint, what's the reason for this? Because the whole point of the zone read game is to option off of a defender, eliminate a defender in that sense, outnumber the offense either on the dive side, forcing them to bring an extra defender, because it's simple math. If you're playing 8 in the box, optioning will eliminate that 8th defender, which will bring you even again, and depending on what you decide to do with that, or that 8th defender decides to do, you can make them wrong every time. Or if it's too deep, you're naturally outnumbered in the gaps anyway for a traditional running game, and you need sound gap control principles and talent and execution to win the day if you wish to control the running game out of too deep. And if you had the zone read element out of a spread running game, you're down basically 2 defenders. As you see here, I'm forced to bring a blitz to account that inside zone. But in inside zone in this game, there are variations of inside zone that leave that defender on the end of the line of scrimmage unblocked, which causes that mismatch on a play that that mismatch should not exist. Which is why what you see in MUT and what you see in Draft Champions and Online Ranked are predominantly shotgun inside zone runs, the type that cause that reaction out of the end man on the line of scrimmage. Now, I asked Clint, why is this? Why do you have that in the game? And we went back and forth. We agreed on some things, disagreed on some others. And basically the crux of his argument was that they slowed down his reaction to prevent him from crashing on the inside zone right away and breaking the play. And I wasn't really satisfied with that answer, so I basically said, well, why not just block him? Why not just block him? And his response was, and this was a correct response, he says, well, if you do that, the backside defender, outside backer, inside backer, if you're playing a 3-4, 3 linebacker, nickel, he'd be able to scrape through unblocked. You have to have those second level blockers to account for that scraping backside linebacker. I said, okay, point conceded there. And, my next logical question would be, well, how about accelerating the play recognition of that defensive end or outside backer? Because I understood what he was trying to replicate with how that defender is reacting. He's trying to replicate that defender playing contain or playing bootleg. Contain against a potential cutback or play action boot. Now, Okay, I get that, but really, still, the only time that defender should be unlocked or unaccounted for on a straight inside zone dive is if it's an inside zone split and a tight end or fullback, H-back, whatever, is coming across the formation to whack him, keep him from crashing down too aggressively on that dive action. That's the whole point of that zone split constraint. It's a constraint to the zone read. The zone read action is what freezes the defensive end or outside backer. So on an inside zone blitz, he's treating it like an option. And if he goes to crash on the dive, he's being met force on force. That should not be happening on a straight inside dive. You either need hat on a hat on the inside dive, or if you're going to keep that contain reaction, you know, accelerate the player recognition process. Now, if you use her that end man in the line of scrimmage, you have no problem. You can blow that sucker up in a heartbeat. We have a guy in an online league who's very good at that. But why not just have it schemed correctly? Because in reality, it's very, very tough to be shotgun spread run based without the threat of the zone read. Because what will happen is defenders will just gang up on inside zone and force you to throw outside. Like, for example, here I'm playing against Carson Palmer in the Arizona Cardinals. I know going in, Carson Palmer is not a threat on the inside zone read keep. He's not a threat on bootleg. So if someone wants to run shotgun inside zone based, run a shotgun inside zone based offense, what am I going to do? I'm going to stack the box. I'm going to kill the running game with numbers. You won't be able to run inside zone, outside zone, power, counter. We're going to stack box, eliminate that, force you to be one-dimensional if you want to play shotgun spread to run with a quarterback that can't be a threat down the backside of your defense. That's why Chip's offense called in Philly. He no longer had guys like the Deshaun Jackson, Jeremy Maclin, a prime healthy Brent Selleck to attack the perimeter with the passing game when people stacked the box against inside zone. I went through watching that with my Notre Dame Fighting Irish when Brian Kelly got there. Once he got guys like Dane Chris and Tommy Reese out of the program and started getting in quarterbacks who had a good feel for the option game, the offense started to look like how it looked like when he was at Cincinnati. But without that threat of that mobile quarterback out of a shotgun spread running game, teams are going to do what exactly they did to Tommy Reese for all those years when he was running that offense. They're going to stack the box, and when it's time to pass, they're going to rush 3, drop 8, and you're going to have problems. But in Madden, it's actually the reverse. You have to really establish you're not going to allow someone to run inside zone under any circumstances. You got to blitz it because you don't have gap stunts for your defensive line. So if you have a dominant defensive front, they're just not going to fire off aggressively and either tie up blockers to allow your backer to scrape over or penetrate and make plays in the backfield themselves. Not on default anyway. Unless, of course, you use your defensive tackle, then you can do that. But on default, that's not going to happen. So, you see yourself having to sell out to stop that inside zone with blitzes, with aligning your linebackers and just absurd alignments to, take away this run when you can or should be able to deal with it with just, sound, common sense, gap, and talent differential. But it was a good, quality, respectful conversation. He understood where I was coming from and the flaws that the game has in this regard and the problems it presents to gamers. And I understood where he was coming from as far as what he's trying to do, what they're trying to do, and also a little bit more of how their programming is coded to differentiate between inside zone read and your standard inside-outside zone run. And at the end of the conversation, we both agreed that there's improvement to be made, and, I have no reason to believe that they're not diligent about improving it. Like there you see, I pretty much said, okay, no more of that. I'm blitzing into that gap, and that's all there is to it. So, you can have conversations with these guys and present problems and, have disagreements over how those problems should be handled and have a good, clean, respectful conversation. Where you guys, the Twitter world, go mental is that you guys go all ham. You start acting like scorned little high school girls who just got broken up with, and you wonder why you get blocked, and no one takes you seriously. Chill out and talk with some sense, and you'll have yourself a good conversation. As far as this game, I'm in between weeks in online league, and you know, trying to lab some pass reads, and as you can see, all I'm seeing is quarters two man under, so whoop-de-dang do. And again, there's the inside zone, and he's doing something where he starts to engage with his defensive tackle, switches to Dwight Freeney, and instantly pulls Dwight Freeney off the engaged left tackle and comes in clean. I mean, these ebook warriors, boy. This particular guy was ranked number 400 and something on the leaderboard, and I know why he's in this formation to run inside zone. Outside of the unblocked defender giving him a numbers advantage for no reason, he can audible the trips four verts if you really sell out to stop that inside zone, which he playing on the previous play in here, and Michael Floyd goes spec catch on Cliff Harris. And now I'm in my no corner routes under any circumstances defense. And if he goes over the middle, fine. But he wants to go corner, and DeMarcus Ware gets to him. Same thing. I see no reason why he's not going to go corner, but that time, I have enough guys over there to knock that streak out. Again, no corners defense, playing over the top coverage audible and hope they hold and don't get sucked down, which is always a challenge. You're at the mercy of that. So, not exactly compelling stuff, as you can see. So now 10-10 game. And we're in 3-2-6 quarter, two-man under. He actually plays three deep here. No, plays three deep next play. I'm just trying to move the ball and not score too quick. He still has 2 timeouts left. Looks like he's in the same D. He's actually in cover 3 here. And we get Owen Daniels there down the seam going up for the ball. So just a batter kicking the field goal, and we're out of here. So love to hear your guys' feedback and thoughts on the topics that I mentioned. And I will talk to you all later. Peace. Oh, and another thing. How pathetic is it that a guy who plays like this is inside the top 500 on the online leaderboard? That just shows you how bad most of the competition is, and also the power of being able to exploit, maybe 2 or 3 things and just cause complete and utter havoc for people. So that's all I got to say about that. Talk to you all later. Peace.